Yo, what's up everybody? I'm Akeem Lawanson, and in today's Fix of Entertainment news, Disney gets the blame for Black Widow's second week slump. The Last of Us series is gonna be one expensive show for HBO, and it's the summer of '69 for Indiana Jones. Let's drop it. It looks like Black Widow might have suffered a slight box office slump. The National Association of Theater Owners, NATO, are blaming Disney for it, claiming they hurt figures by releasing it simultaneously in theaters and on Disney Plus Premier Access. Now, according to The Hollywood Reporter, NATO claims that the dip in theatrical revenue in the movie's second week was due to Disney's day and date release strategy. Now, in a statement provided in a press release this past weekend, NATO said that despite this simultaneous release strategy spelling success for Disney, it, quote, demonstrates that an exclusive theatrical release means more revenue for all stakeholders in every cycle of the movie's life. Of course, distributing the profit across more cycles and platforms means less of the pie goes directly to theater owners. Now, mind you, Black Widow still achieved the largest US box office opening since the pandemic began, earning more than $215 million globally. Now, it opened to more than $60 million on Disney Plus Premier Access, pushing its global haul past 200 mil. Now, the second week was a different story, with Black Widow pulling in $26.3 million in the US this past weekend. Now that's a 67% decline, which THR noted as, quote, one of the biggest drops ever for a Marvel title, and the worst among the Marvel Cinematic Universe films released by Disney. Honestly, I gotta tell you right now, I mean, it's phase 4, and unlike the previous phases in the MCU, we don't know what the ultimate goal is or endgame might be within this particular phase. Also to note, this was a prequel of a character who already died, so perhaps for some moviegoers, it didn't have that must-see Marvel movie appeal. Now, NATO brought up a lot of other issues and gripes that they have with Disney's release strategy, saying Black Widow was one of the most torrented movies for the week of July 12th, and stating that they believe simultaneous releases should be left behind and considered a pandemic-era artifact. As far as I'm aware, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and there's a large amount of consumers out there who are still uncomfortable leaving their homes to watch movies in theaters. So the way I see it, the whole simultaneous release strategy is still valid, and it's just these companies like Disney taking into consideration the comfort level of some viewers who would prefer to simply watch a movie at home. Comment down below, how many of y'all saw this one in theaters or opted to watch it at home? The pandemic changed the landscape of how we consume entertainment. While not completely doing away with the theater experience, we've been given another option. I get why NATO's complaining, but it makes absolutely no sense for companies like Disney and other streaming services to leave money on the table from those who aren't yet willing or able to make it out to watch a movie in theaters. This is just our new reality, and we're all gonna have to get used to it. Now, in other news, talk about money on the table. HBO is all in on the Last of Us series, with reports that it'll cost more than $10 million per episode. Now, while he didn't confirm the exact number, president of the IATSE 212 Artists Union, Damian Petti, told CTV, quote, this project well exceeds the 8-figure per episode mark, so there is a multiplier effect on our economy in terms of its impact. There are hundreds of related businesses benefiting from the plethora of work. Now, that's honestly something you'd expect from a production of this level with such a projected cost per episode. Business and the economy in the province of Alberta, where shooting launched this month, is surely going to be booming. Now, The Last of Us series will have a 10-episode run for its first season, which, if you do some quick maths, means season 1 will cost at least $100 million to make, although it might well exceed that. Filming just started, so no word yet on the release date for HBO's The Last of Us, but we'll keep y'all posted once we find out over here, baby. And finally, 1969 is a famous year for many things and for many reasons. The Beatles gave their final live performance, Apollo 11 landed on the moon, and America's favorite sweetheart, Jennifer Aniston, was born. Now, this is also the year that Indiana Jones 5 will be taking place. Now, this tidbit came from Sky News when they reported a cast member suffered a minor injury during a chase scene with Harrison Ford's Indy through a band of sailors performing at an Apollo 11 ticker tape parade. Filming for Indy 5 is taking place in Glasgow, Scotland, which they've transformed to look like New York's Manhattan, where the returning Apollo 11 astronauts received their welcome back in, yep, 1969! Now, this means the movie will take place 12 years after the events of the series' fourth installment, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was set in 1957. Sorry, these are boomer years. I gotta do that voice. Now, though we don't know much about the plot for Indy 5, we do know this will conclude the story of the famed archaeologist, giving Mr. Ford a much-needed rest. The hardest working man in Hollywood right now, man. Damn. And that about does it for your entertainment fix for today. I'm Akeem Lawanson. Thank you all so much for watching. Now that you're all caught up on the news, check out this exclusive clip from G.I. Joe's Snake Eyes movie. Download the IGN app on all your devices, and for everything else, keep it locked right here on IGN.